Hello and welcome to Aging Matters. This is a program that is presented by and sponsored by the Berks County Area Agency on Aging. My name is Ann Bartlett and I'm the Public Advocacy and Outreach Manager for the agency. Our February show this time is knowing February is Heart Month and heart health and kind of heart-related issues. I thought hard about it and thought, why not do something on blood donation, particularly obviously to keep our hearts pumping. So our show is giving blood at any age. And my guest today is Lois Gassert. She is a donor resources representative with the Miller Keystone Blood Center. So thank you and welcome, Lois.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time and sharing
Absolutely.
the information that we want to discuss about all kinds of information about Miller Keystone Blood Center, donating blood, and some of the misconceptions perhaps. So we'll kind of straighten some of those out today in this February month. So let's first start with the basics. It's Miller Keystone Blood Center. So tell us a little bit about the beginnings of the blood center,
Sure.
How it started, the purposes, and then a little bit about how long you've been in business, and then eventually where you are.
Sure, absolutely. Actually, we started as Keystone Blood Bank.
Okay.
And that was back in around 1966. And that was originated due to the demand of the hospitals in Berks County. So it was St. Joe's Community General at the time and Reading Hospital. And they needed a blood bank to help them out with the blood collections. So that is how Keystone Blood Bank came to be established.
Okay.
And then from there, in 1971, we merged with Miller Memorial Blood Bank up in the Bethlehem area, Lehigh Valley area.
All right.
So we merged together to become Miller Keystone Blood Center. We are a not-for-profit
That's what I was gonna ask,
501c3.
Okay.
And we've been running the blood center as such since 1971 as a combined effort.
So therefore you cover, I assume, a couple of counties.
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
correct?
we
So
do.
what is the territory that you're involved in?
Right now, we have 21 hospitals that we serve. So that covers 9 counties. 7 are in Pennsylvania, and 2 are in the New Jersey area.
Oh, wow. So you're even in
Hunterdon, I think, and Sussex are the New Jersey counties that we cover. And we're covering those hospitals that we serve in those counties.
So the arrangements you make are really with the hospitals, is that correct?
Correct. We are
Okay.
contracted
All right.
with the hospitals to provide a safe blood product.
And I didn't realize that you were in another state,
Right,
outside
yes.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Okay, so you really cover a wide territory.
Yes.
Out of one organization, and the arrangements are made with the hospital. So
Correct.
tell me, while we're on that, a little bit more about, hi, how does that work? Hello, do you need blood?
Right. They have established, their needs on a daily basis.
Okay.
We have couriers who run the blood out, on a daily basis to those hospitals. If there's an emergency, of course, there's our emergency couriers who are running, extra blood out if there's an accident or something like that. It's a daily. We're open 7 days a week. We do not take any time off. We cannot, in order to supply those 21 hospitals. So we're out on the road and open. Our donor centers are open almost 7 days a week.
And so I would imagine, because obviously with the hospitals, the simple, the surgeries that they can plan kind of ahead of time and have an idea typically of the need with an advanced type of thing, but then you said emergencies. And so let me just double check. The hospitals still do their own blood donor?
No, they do not.
Nothing. So they are really dependent upon the Miller Keystone Blood Center to supply that. So they don't do any of their own collection. I didn't know if there's a supplement to it or...
No, it is solely, we're solely providing those 21
I can't imagine
hospitals.
how many pints of blood that is.
That's a lot. And we need about 450 people to walk through our doors every day.
Wow.
Just to sustain a safe level for those
Of
patients in
available
those
blood.
for those patients in the hospitals.
Okay.
Absolutely. And as of December of 2015, we took on Penn State Hershey Medical Center. So
Wow.
that is a big that is a big account for us. It's a big hospital with a huge pediatric cancer wing.
okay.
So we are supplying them now. We did supplement them before, but we are now their sole
Wow.
provider. So
Wow. Okay,
Yes.
you are. I
Yes,
can
we're
imagine you
busy.
are busy.
We are busy.
So let's just, I think let's make sure we know where the blood center is first of all, and then we'll talk
Sure.
about the center itself versus, you said, donor site. So we have a
Right.
graphic, I think, it's the second graphic in our slides that we can show that tells us.
Which has the address,
okay.
right. We are located off of Route 183, so we're about a mile and a half north of the airport. And we're located right behind the Harley-Davidson dealer. Most
Oh,
people know
okay.
where that is.
Alrighty,
And that's
very
where my
good.
office is based out of. That's where we have a fleet of vehicles that, that I'm setting
the
up blood
central
drives.
hub, the main
Right.
office
It's also a
location.
site where people can go
Oh,
to
okay.
donate.
Okay.
So that's one of our 4 donor sites as well.
All right. So now we've got a little bit of the background and the history, and the territory and
Yes.
what you need. Let's talk about then. I want to. So we have several donor sites.
Yes,
All
yes, we
righty.
do.
Do you want to mention?
Yeah,
Do you have a list of it all?
They're
where
actually
they might be?
located, the Reading site, we have Easton, Allentown, and Bethlehem. We also have some other sites that open on a weekly basis for us, so such as maybe a church opens their doors.
Right,
and,
so that's what I think of
you
as
know,
sites. So your
Right.
Reading site is the main site that you
Right.
consider. But then what do you call the other outreach areas?
I think we call them also like a fixed site where
Okay.
people can go, because it is a fixed, daily or a weekly, location that
Okay.
people can go. And I'm not sure of all of those sites. They're listed on our
Sure.
website.
So, I'm thinking quantity and whatever. How many, just a guesstimate, would you think you have of those outlying area sites that you have in, say, a day, a week, a month,
Yeah.
however you approximate
There's
it?
probably, at least 5 of those
And
a
I'm just
month.
talking actually the Reading area, but I'm sure,
Yeah, those are probably more in our outer areas. The Reading area, it's just
I mean, Berks County, I guess. I should have said
Berks County
Yeah.
is mainly our Reading site. That is
Oh, really?
that is really
Okay.
the only.
Because I'm reading all the time about, I'm seeing blood drives in, as you mentioned,
Yes.
churches.
Yes.
A lot of fire company locations.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. My job is to set up blood drives in the
Okay.
community.
All right.
So I cover Western Pennsylvania. No, I cover Western Berks County.
Okay.
So there are 8 other reps doing what I do. We all have territories that
Okay.
we have been assigned. So I am setting up drives at schools, at colleges, businesses, churches, you name it. I just had a big blood drive at a car wash.
So how many of those blood drive sites do you think you can have or handle in
a month,
Yeah.
I average 20 to 25 blood drives a month out in the public.
Okay.
So, times 8 people, that's a lot of blood drives.
And that's what I was going to say. So you
We
have
probably
staff
average-
that go out to
Right.
these. So let's back up a second. And if I'm thinking about an organization that I might be involved in, and we're talking about, maybe being a site for a blood drive, then tell me what it is that you look for that you
Criteria?
need to have in order to have the blood drive at that site.
At that site?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we need donors. So I'm going to ask you,
Okay.
can you get 10 donors? Can you
Okay.
get 20 donors? How
All
many
right.
do you think you can get?
Okay.
And you try to publicize it, and using social media and that sort of thing,
Okay.
to try to get even more donors than maybe the 10 or the 20.
That might
So-
see it in the
Right.
immediate. Okay.
Right,
So our obligation would be to help get the donors.
Right,
Alrighty.
and then we need a flat surface in order to park our vehicle. We have
Okay.
various size vehicles. We have a small one that can come out for small groups,
Oh, okay.
and that's called our mini coach or our half pint.
Oh, that's
Then we
cute.
also have our big buses, which I'm sure you've
I've
seen in the
seen.
community.
Mhm. Yes.
And we also do inside setups, and that is
Yeah.
basically done, in a gymnasium, some big area, like at a school. I mean, typically the schools will do those big inside setups for us.
I was going to say, so you would talk about that with the group that's
the
wanting to do it,
coordinator.
whether it should be the larger bus
Right.
or an inside
Right.
site. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's start with the inside site first. So you're looking at a gym or a large area. Then is it, obviously you need some kind of something to lay down on, bedding, cot, whatever. Is that something you
Yes,
think?
we
Or they
provide
supply?
everything.
Okay.
We provide everything.
Okay.
We provide everything for the setup. We provide the canteen, the drinks and the snacks
Okay.
that the donors get.
Okay.
We just ask you to get the donors.
Okay.
And then we give you a schedule. We run pretty tight ship, so we have our appointment time set up, and here's the schedule. I want you to fill this up with
So
a
the
list
site,
of the donors.
the site group is scheduling the people.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All righty. Yes, they get the request to be a donor. They say, okay, you have this time or this time, and you
Right.
come. So also, let's stay with that before we get to who can and the type of people who can give. But for the site, you provide all of that, you set that up, you bring the staff, obviously. So is there a certain, you said 8 earlier, I'm not sure. So is there, for an inside site, you kind of see how large it might be and adjust accordingly, whether you bring, 1 or 2 people? Are there, if I'm giving blood, is there only one person attending to me, or it's one person tending to, let's say, these 3 people in the immediate area?
Right,
Okay.
yes. It's usually set up that way. One person is kind of overseeing maybe 3 donors sitting in the chair.
Okay.
But you also have a screening process that you go through. So there is a staff member, a phlebotomy team member doing that as well, overseeing that, and also doing your vitals. And so we have several.
Yeah, pass out.
Right, right.
Well, let's
So
start
depending on
with
the size of the
area,
blood drive,
okay.
For a school, for instance, we're sending, more staff to a school drive because they are bigger drives.
and typically the response has been very good
Right,
on
you
that.
can have anywhere from 50 to 100 kids donating.
Wow.
And plus staff members as
Okay.
well,
So let's talk about, we'll come back to the questionnaire and the process, but let's talk about who can give. And settle maybe some of the misconceptions or the questions in our mind about,
Absolutely.
I can't give because of this, or I'm too old, or we have a show geared to seniors, and I think
Yes.
there's some questions whether they can give or not, and whether it's based on age, whether it's based on medications, whether it's, whatever. So let's answer that now.
Sure.
What are our parameters? I guess?
Right, criteria is you have to be 17 years old
Okay.
and weigh 110 pounds.
Okay.
There is no upper age limit. So I think that's, good for your audience to know that.
So give blood.
Yes, give blood. I have, I see a lot of seniors in their 70s and 80s donating blood. They've been regular donors. As long as they have a clean bill of health, they're feeling well and healthy. Most medications are acceptable.
Okay.
Of course, when you get up into the upper age limit, the upper age group, you have to make sure that they're not on a blood thinner.
Okay.
That is
All
probably
right.
the biggest.
Okay. Probably the most common
Right,
too,
right.
in an older age group that might
Right.
be potentially
Exactly.
on that. Okay.
Right. And if they are under the care of a cardiologist, they would need to get a release from their cardiologist. As long as they're not on that blood thinner. But if they've been, had issues or whatever, they need to get clearance from their cardiologist.
Okay.
And we do that through paperwork from their cardiologist to our medical director.
Oh, wow.
So there is
Okay.
clearance, that happens like that. But most medications are acceptable. If you're on high blood pressure meds, that's fine. Cholesterol meds are fine. I always say, thyroid, anxiety meds, they're all fine.
okay,
They're
okay.
absolutely fine. We have a team. You could call into our, blood center, and if you have a question about
All
a certain
right.
medication that you are taking, certainly
Whether
you want to
will
get clearance
be a
before.
problem or
You
conflict.
want to
Okay.
get clearance
Oh,
before
okay.
you donate.
All
But it's very easy. It's healthy to donate. It's like an oil change. You give your pint of blood to save someone's life, and then in turn your body is working right away to replace that blood
I was
with
going to say,
better,
so it's
stronger
not
blood.
like, oh my goodness, now I'm going to,
feel
not
bad
have enough
or-
blood.
Right.
It's a replenishing kind of a system
It
that's
is.
supposed to work like that.
Absolutely.
And is there anybody, before we move on, is there anybody else that really, condition-wise, medical condition-wise, shouldn't give that you can think of?
Yes, some other medications that I do want to mention is the prostate meds.
Oh, okay.
They are deferred. Propecia for hair loss, acne medicine, and there might be a few other ones, and they're all listed on our website, but those are the ones that stick out in my mind right away.
Good. So, and it's really nice to know that, so that they can call ahead of time to verify that, so that they aren't going to waste their time coming on yours, getting everybody starting the process and really discovering that's the situation.
Right.
And then otherwise, everyone else is from 17 and 110 pounds?
Right, correct.
Go for it. Okay.
Yes. There is the screening process that I talked about. There are 50 questions on that medical history form. So some, it may be your background, medical history, some travel information, because travel information is a deferral too if you're going to a place that is high risk malaria, things like that.
High risk malaria.
And tattoos and piercings are also a year deferral. So I don't think we have that issue too much with
an older adult,
with the aging population, but certainly it does affect all age groups, with us. So that's part of the
So you have
criteria.
to wait a year following getting a tattoo or a piercing, something like that.
Right.
Okay.
And then part of that triage, we go from, the screening process to a triage, which is where you're going to have your blood pressure taken. It has to be in a certain range to make it healthy, because we're worried about the donor, is our main concern. And then they're going to take your blood pressure, your temperature, your pulse, and then they prick your finger to make sure that your iron count or your blood volume is high enough to donate. We will not take any risks.
And they can check that right then.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All righty.
Yes.
And then even then, you might be sent home and
if your iron
back
isn't
at a
high
later
enough.
time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the screening process then. So there are some questions that we should be prepared to answer.
Correct.
Is there anything I need to bring with me? What might I bring with me?
Photo ID.
A photo ID.
Photo ID is all you need, and you want to make sure that you eat a good meal before you donate blood.
Okay.
That is very critical, because it's not like a fasting blood test. If you haven't eaten, it's not going to be. We won't even take you. If you haven't eaten a meal in, say 6 hours or something like that.
So
but you want to eat a good meal.
Okay.
Eat foods that are high in iron, and drink a lot of water, because water hydrates your body and makes the whole process a lot easier.
Okay.
Yeah, hydration is good, no matter when it is, but stay hydrated.
Okay, and the questions, they'll help us if we have any questions on the questions.
Exactly. Yeah,
and it really is about our background, and again, as you said, travel location,
a little bit of lifestyle, and things like that. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty.
And since we've gone paperless, it's now on a little tablet. So some of my older donors may not prefer to use a tablet, but it's very easy. It's a yes and no.
I was going to say, so it's not like I would have a piece of paper I could fill out ahead of time either.
It's not. No, it's done right there at the blood drive.
Okay, and you have a couple of folks to be able to process that and get us through at our time. So if I'm given a time, what is your suggested ahead time? In other words, if I'm given a time of donating blood is 11:30, is that built into it? So that's when I show up, or should I come?
You should show
up a little ahead of
11:30.
time. Oh, okay.
Show up at 11:30. You go through the screening process.
Okay.
The actual blood donation itself takes, I average 5 to 10 minutes. For the actual blood.
Okay.
Bloodletting, or whatever you would call it.
Okay.
And then you'll spend 10 to 15 minutes in our canteen having refreshments, making sure you feel okay, making sure your blood pressure isn't, getting funky or dropping, and so it's a whole process. It takes probably about 40 to 45 minutes average.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes.
Good to know what time I should allot for.
Right.
And how often can I give blood?
That's a good question. Yes, you can donate whole blood every 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so every 2 months you could probably do 6 donations.
And be safe and not worry about my donation to somebody or the effects of giving blood.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
and
every
then
8 weeks. Okay.
out at our fixed or donor centers is where we do automation. And automation is when we take platelets or plasma from that donor.
Okay.
And that is a longer process. You can donate platelets every 8 days.
Wow.
As opposed to whole blood every 8 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
Is there a better, I mean, obviously we always hear about the blood drive, so
Right.
I'm assuming more blood is needed than the platelets, or?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Platelets are very high in demand,
Okay.
especially for cancer patients that are going through chemotherapy. They use a lot of platelets, and that's the clotting factor of your blood.
Okay.
And because they only have a 5-day shelf life, we need constant platelet donors.
Turnaround.
And the platelet donors are very special. They come out to the blood center to donate typically, and it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. You'll have to.
And again, any age, there's no restrictions.
Right.
It's very similar in
Right,
terms of
right.
okay. What about any other misconceptions that I'm sure you have heard over time
Yes.
doing this, about giving blood? Anything else you'd like to clear up or clarify at this point?
I think the most are the medical questions. I can't donate because I have high blood pressure, or I take high blood pressure meds. That's a big misconception.
Okay.
But I think people just need to know that this is something we need on a daily basis. Donating whole blood is very easy.
Okay.
It's safe. We make it safe for the donor. It's safe for the recipient. Because of all the testing it goes through, with Miller Keystone, and the FDA.
And of course, all of the
everything.
safety precautions that you are all taking as professionals when you're
gloves,
taking the blood.
masks, everything. Everything is sterile, so no one ever has to worry.
No
about
matter what location, whether it's the center or
Exactly.
the satellite sites that
Right.
you're scheduling, the donor
Right.
sites. Okay, so what if I can't give blood? And I say can't meaning people are scared.
Sure.
Scared of
Sure.
needles. Or afraid of, when they see it and they see the blood, that makes them faint.
Right, right.
Or, they've had a bad experience with access, the vein access to get the blood. So is there something they can do other than help to recruit other people to
Absolutely.
give blood? But what else might they
Right,
do?
and that's what I do suggest. Get someone to take your place then,
Okay.
if you are not a good candidate to donate blood. But you can, we're always taking monetary donations. I
Okay.
mean, that's a big plus for us to get monetary donations from the community, because that helps us buy, newer equipment and,
Okay.
and keep up with all the wear and tear on our vehicles that go out into the community.
Okay.
You can also volunteer.
Oh, there you
Which
go.
is really
Of course
great.
you-
We have a lot
Okay.
of seniors that volunteer, and they go through a little training.
Okay.
And they will go out to they'll either come to the blood center or go out to our field hospital
Mm-hmm.
or the gymnasium type setups, and they will be part of our canteen. They'll serve the drinks, keep
Okay.
an eye on the donors. I mean,
Okay.
they go through training for that. They can also be a donor aide in those situations, which you're actually maybe handing equipment to the
Oh, okay.
phlebotomy
All
team,
right.
and
Okay.
maybe getting a drink for the donor that's sitting in a chair and things like that. So there are definitely
Some opportunities.
opportunities, and we're always looking for
Okay.
for new people to come out and volunteer. I mean, because it is a daily thing, and maybe we have an early morning drive
Right.
or late evening drive, and we're always looking for volunteers.
I was
so
going to
it's
say,
very easy.
as many as the sites and the drives that you have, I'm sure there are varying times and of the
Yes.
times of the day and the days of the week. So there's
Yes.
probably some fit for many people to
Right,
volunteer
right.
their time.
They can volunteer once a week or twice a month, whatever fits their schedule
Good.
and whatever they're comfortable with.
That leads us into then, let's put the graphics back up. Let's start with our first graphic. We'll start with that one then.
There you go.
We've got the various donation center, the Reading Donation
Reading
Center
donation,
hours.
yes.
And you can see that they start quite early.
Yes, yes.
In the morning. I don't think I could even make it there to give at 6 a.m., but I could hit the 7:30 time
Right,
frame.
right.
So you really have obviously every day but Sundays, some really
Right.
great times for people to be able to give. And let's, if we can, go back to the first slide, which looks like that has a way to contact you with the 800 number.
There
of
it is.
the 1-800
Yes.
Be a Donor.
Yes.
I think that's clever. That's
Yes.
great. That's an easy one to remember. And you were mentioning quite often your website.
Website has a lot of great information on it.
And that's the www.giveapint.org, another clever site. So please check
Yes.
out the website for maybe, opportunities that you see with volunteering, with sites that might be coming up, questions, I think that are probably answer your questions on there, as well as call the 800 number to again have those questions that have been that's on your mind about giving, volunteering opportunities, and I'm sure that you welcome all of those things, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
If we have 2 seconds or 30 seconds quick as our
Yes.
wrap up, is there any one last thing you'd like to say as far as the Miller Keystone Blood Center and giving blood?
Well, just to encourage everyone to, if you can't give blood yourself, encourage maybe a family member to donate blood,
Okay.
because we need that. We do need young blood. We're missing out on that.
Okay.
30-year-old,
Okay.
age group. So, I know they're
And it's
busy.
any types of blood,
Right.
any
It
blood
is
types
all
that are needed.
types of blood.
And
Yes.
it certainly sounds like we have a need to make sure that that blood supply is there regularly and for those emergencies.
Absolutely. It doesn't cost you anything. We'll give you cookies in the end. It's all very
It's all good.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, we have run out of time. So I want to thank you again, Lois, for being my guest today and talking about giving blood. And remember, you can
Yes.
give blood at any age. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to call the Miller Keystone Blood Center. And our agency is Berks County Area Agency on Aging. Thank you.